Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Youth Pulley Show. Needless to say, what my name is already on the screen. So, how is everything with you? I'm always asking that question, and usually when I ask it, I feel like I could get a response from you. If I did get a response from you, it would sound really nice. So, if you're here, you could just drop a comment in the comment section, and then I'll recognize your presence. But today we're talking about love, and I'm very excited. Not just because it's love, anything that has to do with relationships actually gets me. I don't know why it's like that. I don't know why it's like that, but I feel very, very excited talking about things that regards relationships. So today we're looking at when love is an evidence of things not seen. And before I start, I'd like to take this time to say thank you very much for always tuning in every Wednesday by 5, to listen to us, to encourage us. Your presence encourages us a great deal. So I want to say thank you very much. It means a whole lot to me. Sometimes when I, go back to the house and then I'm, reminiscing over why exactly you would, burn your data over a young guy like me. It just comes to my mind that sometimes it's not even because I'm that special, But thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. And thank you to Abiding TV for the platform too. Okay, so we're going to start right about now. We have so much to talk about, and I'm on the show alone today. I've been meaning to talk about love alone, so that all those people who have been saying, "What do you know about love?" They can ask their questions, and then let's get it. So when love is an evidence of things not seen. So I start by asking a question, right? I wrote this down, so I'm just going to read it from the book. Can love exist when you've not seen your partner in entirety? Can love exist when you've not completely seen the potential of your partner? We have very limited things we can see naturally. So you've not seen what your partner can be. Can love exist in such relationship? Can love exist at all? So let's say you just met this beautiful lady, just met this handsome guy, and you are looking to start something together, but nothing did. I'm just going to be using pidgin intermittently because I feel like this is a topic that most youths are really interested in. So I'll be using pidgin a whole lot. So nothing did. The guy don't get anything. There's really nothing to brag about, right? Except for words he has and then stuff he has written down on paper. So you go to his house and then it's like a condo, right? Just small and it's small, right? But the only thing you see that kind of impresses you is stuff he has on paper. Can love exist in such situation? So I'm just going to leave you to ponder over that. I can see some people joining in, right? You can always drop your comments in the comment section, and then I'll say hi and hello to you. Okay, so ponder over that question. We're going to answer it during the show, but I'm just going to start right ahead. So we know that the phrase "evidence of things not seen" is mostly associated with faith, right? It reflects an anchor we hold on to when we are hoping something will happen sooner or later. It's an anchor we hold on to when we're hoping something is going to happen sooner or later, right? So we confess we're going to be something in the future. We proclaim that by the time we're at a certain age, things would have worked out very well for us, right? And then somebody comes and asks us, how do you know this is going to be, this is going to be according to how you've, thought about it, how you've said it, and you say, I just know, and the person says, how do you know? And you say faith in God, faith in God, the unwavering belief that no matter what happens, no matter how bad it gets, you're going to ultimately succeed because the word of God cannot fail. So the person says, how do you know? And you say, I know because my faith says so. My faith says so. The word of God says so, right? So we know that evidence of things not seen is a phrase mostly associated with the word faith. Now, what points to wisdom love in that context? Because it's like an idea that just came to me and I just put it together and I'm just going to share with you this evening. At what point do we say love is an evidence of things not seen? Is that even possible? So I'm just going to put that question in another way so we can, take it up from there. So imagine that someone comes to you and says, maybe you have a partner already, right? But you guys are not married. I'm talking to singles right now, singles. So you guys are not married, and then this person walks up to you and says, "See your partner. He doesn't have anything. He doesn't, he's not handsome enough or wealthy enough to be able to take care of you." And then look at this lady. Maybe you're again, then they're saying your friends they just came to you and said, "Look at this lady. You want to, bring up. She's not as sound as you. Do you think she's going to be an helpmeet and all that? Why did you even choose this person? Why did you even choose this guy? Why did you even choose this girl?" And then you're saying in your mind, you reflect on the question, and then you tell them, "I just love this lady," or "I just love this guy." Does that even make sense? Does that even make sense? The fact that you're asked, "Why did you choose this person?" and you're saying you just love the person. You don't know, you can't say you just love the person. So most often than not, we find ourselves in situations where we love without having any reasons why, right? But I'm going to shock you this evening. There are salient reasons why we love, and then sometimes maybe because we don't know what exactly it is, we just say we just love the person. I'm just going to point those things out to you. Snap out of that thought of loving without reasons because it doesn't exist, right? So the reason is because man is naturally a selfish being. We are born as selfish beings, right? You cannot marry somebody unconditionally. Let me say that again in another way. You cannot marry somebody out of unconditional love. Only God can do that. Only God has done that. Only Jesus has done that. Because the Bible says he loved us that even while we were yet sinners, he died for us. We didn't even qualify for it. He died for us and made us his bride in advance, right? So as men, before you say yes to anybody, before you decide that you're going to spend the rest of your life with somebody, you're looking out for yourself first. You're thinking, what is this person bringing to the table? It's like an elevator pitch the person is going to be giving. So this is who I am. My name is Sandra. This is what I'm bringing to the table. I can cook. I can, support you. I have ideas. I can be the helpmate the Bible talks about, and all that, and all that, and all that. So you're looking out for yourself, for your peace, for your fulfillment. You're looking out for what the person is going to bring to the table, right? So you can't love unconditionally. You can't marry somebody unconditionally. There always has to be a reason. It must have been something you would have seen in that person that made you say, okay, yes, this is the person I'm going to spend the rest of my life with. It must have been something you would have seen, something you would have spotted. Maybe not money, maybe a powerful vision, maybe a prospect that you couldn't just ignore. You said, this person, I can't. If I leave this guy, if I leave this girl, I might miss out. So you stick around for a while and then you keep hoping that things click, right? So there's always a reason. There's always something we see in someone before we decide we're going to spend the rest of our lives with the person. So it means that love exists. The only point we can say that love exists as an evidence of things not seen is when these four things I'm going to mention shortly are not ordinary, right? So you cannot really say love is an evidence of things not seen if these four things are not in place. What are these four things? First, the story of the person. Let me use a guy for instance. You're a lady and then you're saying, you say, why did you choose this guy, right? And you're saying you just love the person, and they're not asking you again, why exactly do you love the guy? And then you're not able to talk about it. I'm just going to help you, fix that question. Now there are four things that made you, fall in love with the guy, and then these four things are very, very key. They're very, very key to driving relationships. This evening, I'm particularly talking to those guys, those ladies who are looking to build relationships, but they are not exactly where they're supposed to be in life. Financially, spiritually, mentally, they're trying to build capacity, character. They're still trying to build themselves, but they're also trying to create relationships along the line, so then they don't end up looking for who to marry when the time comes. Now, so I'm talking to those people specifically, and then maybe you're saying, first time I had a relationship, I had a heartbreak. The lady left me, the guy dumped me, and stuff. So you're trying to still check yourself. Maybe why did this happen? Why did this happen? Why did this guy leave? So I'm going to mention 4 things to you, and these 4 things are the only prerequisites for which you can say love is an evidence of things not seen. That love exists even when you've not seen the entirety of the person you are looking to spend the rest of your life with. The first is the person's story, where the person came from, right? Second is who the person has become as a result of where he came from. Who the person has become as a result of where he came from. The third is where the person is at the moment, and the fourth is where the person is going. Those 4 things, right? So sometimes you hear ladies say, when asked about their partners, why exactly did you choose? What exactly did you choose this guy? And the ladies say, I just love him, right? What they're saying actually is, I'm drawn to his story. I connect so deeply with his story. I appreciate the fact that he has become he has become this man as a result of where he came from, right? I don't look down on where he is right now because I believe in where he's going. You see how I put it there, right? So what the ladies are saying when they say they love, then they don't have any reasons why. Sometimes I remember asking my sister one of those days, why do you like this guy? And she said, he's just too nice. So is that even a reason? He's just too nice. I don't know what your thoughts are about that, about somebody being too nice. So nice, just decide you're going to be with this person, right? But the truth is, what the ladies say, what the guys actually say when they say they love somebody without any reason, so to speak, behind it is they are drawn to the person's story. They are connected so deeply with the person's story. They appreciate the person they have become as a result of that story. Yeah, they don't look down on where the person is at the moment because they believe in where the person is going, right? Since where they came from, who they are, where they are, and then where they are going, right? So that those 4 things I just shared with you. Now I remember I shared it with a guy one of those times. He came to me and then he was talking about his relationship issues. He said there was this lady he liked. He actually he cooks, right? He cooks really well. And then there was this lady he liked, and there were 2 other guys who were competing, so to speak, competing and then trying to get her attention. They wanted to connect with her so deeply. In fact, marry herself. And he was like the should I say the third person on her list. And he came to me and like, what should I do? And me now in my humility, what do I know? So I decided to share with him those secrets I just shared with you now. First, most ladies, sometimes people say ladies are driven by money. It's not always the case. Money only makes you enjoy the relationship, but it is not what ladies look out for first. Don't misunderstand that. It is not what ladies look out for first. They might look out for it if they just want to play around with you and then leave or some other person. But if they want to spend the rest of their lives with you, what they look out for first is not money. So be careful. I told him those 3 things first. Be careful about sharing where you came from. Where you came from. Tell her where you came from. Tell her who you become as a result of it. Exactly what you're doing right now. Then tell her. Ladies are captivated and then motivated by powerful visions, prospects, people that have been through hell, but they have the drive to succeed. I'm going to be sharing some stories with you about some people I know and respect so much, some couples I know and respect so much who have been through a whole lot. But the ladies, when their wives are asked, what did you see in this guy that made you, decide that you're going to spend the rest of your life with him? And they'll be like, it wasn't money. In fact, I think I probably even had money more than he did. And then they'll go on to now state why. I'm going to share that with you shortly. But take note of those 4 things. So I told him those 4 things, and then he decided to put it into practice. He went, met her, started talking, and then long story short, he walked. He walked. I'm smiling right now. He walked, and then the lady came. They started rolling again. Sad story is that at some point the lady marry somebody else, and then you didn't even know. I am. If he's even watching this right now, he'd probably be like, "Fabian, it's sad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. These things happen." And then I'd probably say she wasn't meant for you. All right. So that being said, so at what point I've said a whole lot of I didn't even open the. So we said love is an evidence of things not seen when we are drawn to our partner's story, when we appreciate the kind of person they've become despite it, when we don't look down on where our partners are at the moment because we believe in their future, right? So let's start with the first part. Let's start with the first part, the story, where you came from. What's your story? You are a lady, you are a guy. It's your story, right? What you went through in the past is not enough reason to become a monster. Because we're talking about something long term here. Something long term here. Relationships are not experiments. Relationships are not experiments. You can't. I watched a short clip some time ago, and the person said you can't use another person's heart for fun. If you want to catch fun, go watch videos. Do something else, but don't use people's heart for fun. Relationships are not experiments, so you don't just come in and then when you feel like it, you just step out, and then you feel elated when somebody has a heartbreak. It will tire you, and then when you've had you've acquired so many enemies as assets, by the time they'll be coming for you, you'll be running. You'll be running from yourself. So what's your story? What you went through in the past is not enough reason to become a monster. It's not enough reason to become a monster to that girl. It's not enough reason to become a monster to that guy. It's not their fault that what happened. So you shouldn't bring the anger of the things, the way you were treated by your ex, treated by your parents, treated by your siblings to this person. He doesn't know. She doesn't know. If you don't open up, he or she wouldn't even know, right? So maybe you lacked affection and attention when you were a kid. So when you don't get it for 1 minute from your partner, you feel like your partner is cheating. Maybe you suffer from lack of affection. I remember the first topic we treated here on the Youth Pulley show was age 30 personality traits. And we're talking about how childhood affects adults' behavior. And we said lack of affection affects adult behavior a whole lot. Maybe you suffer from lack of affection, and then anytime maybe for 1 minute, your partner doesn't, is not there to talk with you, you feel like he or she's cheating. So you're calling every day, every minute to find out where are you, you're clingy. It wears people out. I'm telling you. If you're a lady and then you call a guy every time, it wears guys out. It is not. It might sound like something good and cool the first 2 weeks of the relationship, right? But months after, we're talking about months after, years after, you're calling every time. Why? And you're the guy, you're calling the lady every time. There is just a subtle message there, a subtle reason there that you lacked affection when you were a child, and then you are looking to get so much attention from this person. And even when it is not there for 1 minute, you feel like what you went through in the past is not enough excuse to become a monster. Maybe your brother or your sister was always the favorite of your parents. This one happens a lot in homes. Parents don't like saying it and all that. But if they have 4 children, there's always going to be one person the mother likes more than the other. The others. There's always going to be one person the dad likes more than the other. So maybe if you were a victim of that kind of circumstance where your brothers, your sisters were preferred, the favorites of the parents, and then you were not, right? It will make you start, seeing red flags in relationships where there are none, right? So you're jealous, you will be dumped by your partner when you see he or she interacting with the opposite sex. It doesn't always have to be like that. It doesn't always have to be like that, right? It doesn't always have to be like that. I'm not saying it's a wrong thing to, have a little bit of control over the person you love, right? But when it becomes extreme, like I said, it wears people out. And eventually, the lady will be like, I don't think I can continue. I'll be like, what did I do? I mean, I've been loving you. I've been doing this. I've been all around you, taking care of you, buying things for you, giving you attention 100% of my time. I call you, I check on you. And she'll be like, that is the problem. The problem is that you check on me every time. It doesn't work like that. The problem is that you check on me every day. The problem is that you are just too nice, right? Okay, you're just too nice. I remember my pastor, used shared with us a story when he was, looking to build relationships uh, that would lead to marriage with a particular lady. Uh, After like months into the relationship, the lady came and said, "I'm sorry, I can't continue." And he was like, "Why?" And she said, "You are just too good for me." Ha! I'll move on. I'm going to move on. I'm going to move on from that too, because I'm tempted to talk about it, but you know, it just okay. Let me talk about this more. It just it just shows that this lady doesn't know her worth, doesn't love herself that much to think that somebody should love her to the extent which the person does, right? Doesn't feel like she deserves the kind of love that is coming. So every morning, if you're one of such persons who believe that somebody is too good for you, wake up every morning confessing to yourself, I am worthy of love. It doesn't matter if you believe it the first day, keep confessing it. I am worthy of love. I am worthy of every attention and affection I get. Because the truth about that is, if you don't confess that to yourself, if you don't believe in that, you will end up settling down with somebody who doesn't have time for you. That is possible. How do you think that happens? The like guys who smoke, guys who who maybe when they are having sex, beats them, makes them cry, something like that. It doesn't even make sense. The words don't even sit together. So there's a subtle reason, then that is what I'm just sharing with you right now. They are past, right? So know your worth. Nobody is too good for you. Oh. That's the truth. Nobody's too good for you. If you're going to spend 5 minutes with me, right, as a person, I'm a human being too, right? I'm a human being too. Every person you respect. Welcome back, guys. I'm so sorry for the break, how we ended that part. It was getting intense. I'm so sorry. It was network, right? These things happen. It's where we are. Thank you for staying tuned with us. I really appreciate you. I really, really do. Trust me. So don't worry, it will be worth it. So we're talking about, if I can remember, we're talking about the first part of that love is an evidence. When love is an evidence, stuff. Said your story. That's where you came from, and I was talking about this point. Your past is not enough reason to become a monster, right? Your past is not enough reason to be a monster. What you went through in the past is not enough reason to become a monster, right? So maybe you witness your parents fight, right? You witness your parents fight, and then one of them used to beat the other. So you get into relationships, and then you use force as a means of passing a message. Before I dwell on that point, I remember I was talking about being worthy of love. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, don't let anybody treat you like trash. I'm begging you, because you can't. I said it in the first series we had on love. The next worst place after hell is terrible marriage, and then after that is a terrible relationship. Maybe in the relationship you're already going through hell, and then you're hoping somehow that things will change when you get married. It doesn't work like that. Maybe maybe you're in a relationship right now, and then the love is dwindling. It won't it won't go back up when you tie the knot. So maybe that day you say I do. That day when you walk down the aisle, and then you tie the knot, and then you kiss the bride, and then you go home, have sex, and then that it won't come back. When the love starts dwindling, it's either you find a reason and fix it, find the cause of the problem and fix it, or you talk it out. You don't just hope. And we say hope is not a strategy. You don't just hope that things will return back to normal, and then you start loving yourselves. No, it doesn't work like that. You can't be using matters that relate to your heart, taking it lightly. You can't take matters that relate to your heart lightly, because when your emotions are affected, everything about you breaks down. When your emotions are affected, everything about you, it affects every part of you, right? Because we are emotional beings. We're emotional beings. If you want to, if somebody has ever told you before, you're of the choleric temperament, and somebody has ever told you no, something, or told you no, that something cannot be done, and you're a choleric, it makes you angry, and anger is an emotion. So you want to go all out and make sure that thing is done, so that you put that person to shame. So, or maybe you're not of the choleric temperament, somebody just looks down on you, and then you feel bad about it. From that point, from that emotion, that emotion of depression, whatever it is, you come out with strength, trying to prove a point, right? So we're emotional beings, but when your emotions are affected in the negative, it affects every area of your life, and it could take time before you heal. So don't take matters of the heart lightly, please. I was saying, don't let anybody treat you like trash. Maybe you witnessed your parents fighting, and then one of them was always beating the other. Maybe your dad was always beating your mom. So you get into a relationship, you feel like that's like the in thing. The guy is always supposed to show his authority by slapping a lady, right? Or by beating up a lady. I read somewhere at one point in time that any guy who raises his hands on a lady, is a fool. Because why should you even do it? Why should you do it? Raise your hands on a lady. Why should you do it? So I won't dwell on that for quite long. Okay, so force is not a means of showing authority. It's not the only means of showing authority, and it's not even supposed to be there in relationships if there is love in the first place. Because if there is love, you're doing things out of love, not out of fear. Force makes fear possible, right? Force makes fear possible, but when there's a love, you do things out of your free will, right? Respect comes naturally, submission comes naturally, your giving comes naturally, the conversations just flow naturally. Things are not forced, because there is love, right? There's love, and then there's money, right? I said money makes you enjoy the relationship. There's love, then there is money. Okay, so the second part of the reason why love can be an evidence of things not seen. That is, you can love somebody even when you've not seen the person, the potential of the person in the person's entirety, right? The second part is who the person has become as a result of his or her past. Remember, I said when somebody says "I love you," and then you ask why, right? When somebody says, your friend says, "I love this girl," and you're asking why, you said, "I don't really know." There are two things involved. The first could be that he's not serious. He just wants to use the girl. He just admires the girl's physique and everything. He's just attracted to the lady, and then he's probably lost after her. But the second part is that is the part where I talked about those four things. He's drawn to the lady's story, right? He appreciates who she has become as a result of it. He doesn't look down on where she is right now, and then he um, believes where she is going, right? Believes in her future. So there are two parts to it. Is either the guy is lusting after her, the lady is lusting after him, or those other four things. We talked about the first one, the story part, and I said that no matter what you went through in the past, it is not enough reason to become a monster. You owe it to yourself to be a better man. You owe it to yourself to become a better lady. You didn't get that kind of attention you had, you wanted as a child, kind of affection you wanted as a child. It shouldn't make you come into relationships and then be all over the place, being domineering, controlling, too jealous, and all that. You owe it to yourself to be a better person, and then you will love you for it, right? So the second part is who you have become as a result of your past. Are you just looking inward? Are you just one angry person who snaps out on anything and anybody when you don't get what you want? You're in a relationship, and then when you don't get what you want, you just snap out. There is no real reason to be angry, but you're just angry. There's no real reason why you should prolong an issue, but you keep talking about it. I don't know if you've been in a relationship where this happens quite a lot. Maybe something happens, and then you guys have talked about it today, and then tomorrow comes, and then the person brings it up, and then after you've been apparently forgiven, when you do something else, the person uses that as like, that was how you did that thing yesterday. Now then you've done it today, and so you're like, you didn't forgive me, So it's really depressing, these things when they take place in relationships. So you snap out on anything and anybody who gets in your way in relationships. When you don't get what you want, it makes you angry. Are you still crying over what could have been had you grown up with the perfect parents? The perfect parents. There are no real anywhere. There are no perfect parents anywhere. Maybe you didn't get the kind of love you wanted, the basic needs and amenities you should have had as a child. Well, there are thousands out there who went through the same thing. Maybe yours was not even that bad. There is always a worst case scenario for everything you went through in your past. Maybe you, as a child, you didn't grow up with your father, you grew up with your mother. The worst case scenario is that you would have grown up maybe with a relative who didn't care who didn't care about anything about you, right? So maybe you were an orphan, you were staying with a stranger who took care of you. The worst case scenario is that you will not even have the shelter over your head, and then you'll be roaming around the streets and all that. So there's always a worst case scenario for everything. There are no perfect parents. So if you're still crying over what could have been years back when you were still a child, then there is a problem. Because even in your relationship, it will be telling. You will subconsciously, right, expect the person you're in a relationship with to treat you the way your parents did. Right? You will subconsciously expect the person to feel, expect the person, to make mistakes that will make you cry. So be looking out for the person's faults, looking out for the person's errors and all that. It is not supposed to be like that. Allow yourself heal. Allow yourself heal. Look at your past and look at who you are right now. Are you sure? Are you sure it has not had a negative effect on you? If it has, there is still time to heal. And there is no better way to do that than in Jesus, right? There's no better way. There's no better place you can do that than in Jesus. You need to heal. You need your heart to heal. You need your mind to heal. You need to let go of those things. You need to let go of those things. Okay, fine, they happened. Are you going to keep crying about it? Are you going to keep, talking about it with everybody you meet and all that? To, to attract pity, to attract attention and all that. Or maybe on Facebook, you keep every year you keep saying, um, daddy, I miss you. On so day you passed away, oh, and now here am I, oh, alone. Oh, things are not working out. If you were here now, I would have been this. Adieu, Papa. And then people now, start commenting, yeah, sorry, every year, every year, every year. Now I'm not saying those things are bad, but why do you do them? Because there is always an intent behind every action. Every post you make, every content you create, whatever you put out on the online space, there is always an intent. So when you put out those things, if you're doing it in order to attract pity, it means you have not healed. It means you have not healed. If you're looking for somebody to be in a relationship with who is going to always, treat you like, should I say, a younger person, maybe ladies say, I want a guy who is like a father to me. And then he comes around and he's bossing you around. He said, this is not the kind of person I want. This is not the kind of person I want and all that. So you to observe the kind of things that happen in your life, the kind of person you are right now, how you make decisions, your perspective, your view of life. Are you sure it is not as a result of what you went through in the past and that is making you have this kind of negative relationships and all that? These toxic comments you make, the fact that you're not even having friends around and all that, or anyone who comes around you always has a reason to go out to maybe leave you or something. You have to look at yourself very carefully and all that. Right? So the third part is, where are you right now? And there's some few questions about, okay, you can't keep, so I wrote this down for the previous point. You can't keep reliving your past and expect someone to love you for who you are. It just doesn't make sense. Some people say, I want you to love me for who I am. Who are you exactly? If you're reliving your past, maybe let's talk about exes. We'll talk about exes shortly. We'll talk about exes shortly. But if you're reliving your past and you're expecting somebody to love you for who you are, then and the person leaves, then the person has a right to, because nobody wants to love a child or a baby every time. Every time, a guy wants a mother in a relationship and also wants somebody who is going to be babyish somehow, but not every time, right? There are times when she will need cuddling, and those are the babyish moments when she comes and then she wants to be around, wants to be cuddled, wants to be spoken softly to and all that. But when she's always like that, the guy becomes tired, because we don't want to be in a relationship with babies or somebody who doesn't understand times and seasons. Or you want to be in a relationship with the guy can be a baby, right? At some point where he wants to be cuddled, where he needs to be cuddled. But you always want fathers in relationship. So if you're reliving your past, reliving your past life as a child, you might end up not really having anybody in your life. So let's talk about exes now. Past relationships, heartbreaks. How many heartbreaks have you had? How many heartbreaks have you had? So it's difficult to, allow somebody into your space if you've had first heartbreak, second heartbreak, third heartbreak, and then somebody comes up and then it's using the same line, I love you. You go like, not today. I don't hear this one time. What else do you want to tell me? It's difficult, but the truth is, we have to learn to move on. It's hard, but it's necessary. It's hard, but it's necessary. We have to learn to move on. So you were not treated right, or maybe in the past relationship, things didn't work out the way you wanted, things didn't work out the way you planned. It doesn't mean that all guys are going to be the same. It doesn't mean that all ladies are going to be the same. So sometimes I just laugh at ladies who say men are beasts. I'm like, that's a fallacy of hasty generalization. Have you met me? No, okay. Have you met me? Have you met your other guys in the world who are looking to find somebody who can just give them time to show how much they love, how much they can love, how much they can feel, they can make you feel like a princess or like a queen, right? So men are not beasts. I'm warning you, if you have that kind of mindset, please purge yourself of it. Men are not beasts. If you met one person who acted in a particular way, that is that person, right? That is that person. If you met a lady who squandered your money, who was just taking things from you, it doesn't mean that all ladies are gold diggers, right? It doesn't mean that all ladies are gold diggers. I have met ladies who they don't allow you give them things, not because they are proud. They don't just like it. So they don't even allow you dash their money. It shocks me actually. The first day I met somebody like that in school, it shocked me. I'm like, you don't want me to give you money? Wow, that's amazing, right? That's amazing. That's the first time I've seen something like that. So it's not all ladies are gold diggers, and not all guys are beasts. We keep hoping and trusting and looking to find those people that will be, those people that will compliment us and those people that will come into our lives and make us feel special. There's a question I sent out. Is it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday, and I said, do we wait for true love, look for true love, or ask for true love? I had so many amazing answers, so many amazing comments, and I wish I could display them here, but there is no time. Do we wait for true love? Do we ask for it, or do we look for it? If you've not answered the question, you can still drop, your answer in the comment section, and I'll recognize it and then read it out here, right? Okay. So the other part is, where are you right now? We've talked about your story, where you came from. We've talked about who you have become as a result of your past. Then we're talking about the third one right now. Where are you? So what are you doing at the moment? So we know you went through this. In the past. Talked about the fact that this is who you have become as a result of it. So, but what are you doing right now? This is 2020. What are you doing right now? Right? What structures are you setting up? What systems are you building to get to the land of your dreams? Right? What systems are you setting up? What structures are you building? How are you? How are you putting yourself out there? So where are you right now? Can you even take care of yourself? Can you dress? Can you take care of yourself? As a bachelor, as a spinster, can you take care of yourself? Okay, maybe the money is not there. Are you saving? Are you saving at all? What books are you reading? Who are your friends? All those are questions that link up with where exactly you are at the moment. And then the earlier you started answering those questions, the better it would have been for you, because it will help you know exactly who you're compatible with. I made mention of the fact that I'll be sharing some stories with you about some people I know and respect, some couples I know and respect so much, right? And then, so I'm just going to begin with the most popular person. The most popular person. I know you must have heard of Fela Durute. You know him, Fela Durute. I mean, you've not heard of Fela Durute. You've heard of House of Tara and Tara Durute and all that. You've heard their story, right? And their story. Tara didn't. When she started out with being friends with Fela, she was not in a relationship. I watched a documentary she gave. She was not exactly in a relationship with him. She was even looking to connect Fela with a friend of hers, right? Friend of hers. But as she shared the story, she said Fela came visiting one day, and then she was with I think she said her mom, right? Her mom. Yeah. Fela came visiting one day and then she was with her mom. And then when her mom, got into a conversation with Fela and they spoke at length. After the conversation, her mom now came and asked her, who is this guy? In Yoruba, I don't know how to say it in Yoruba. Who is this guy? And then she said, it's my friend, and I'm even looking to, make him go out with one of my female friends. And her mom, as the story went, exclaimed, "What are you talking about? You want this guy to go out with another person? What are you doing here?" So it means that Fela would have had so much impact on her mom. Now the question is, Did Fela give her mom money? No. Now what did he do? Conversation. It's just talk. It's just talk. It's just talk. So in that conversation, there would have been something that had to do with where he came from, something to do with where who he had become as a result of his past, where he was, and then where he was going. And then all of those things would have just been mixed together in the conversation, and then Tara's mom would have just been wild and all that. So those are examples of these things. That's like the first person I know. I also know of I could use my parents for example as an example. They were still students. My mom was working as a student and also working at one company like that, Pamo Nigeria Limited, and then my dad too was working there, right? But they were not into any relationship. And then after some time, when they started going out, and then they're asking themselves, what did you see in this guy? When she talks about just thinking about it, what did you see in him? You know, he when I talk with my dad, he shares so much about his his days as a youth, and he'll be like, where I grew up, the mentality of the people there is so limited. Everybody just wants to finish school, get a job that pays maybe 20, 30, 50,000, and then find a house, maybe a room and then a parlor, and then get married and then settle down. That's all. Very average, average thinking life and all that. But it was his thinking pattern. The fact that it was different, the fact that he wanted to explore, the fact that he wanted to be so much more that attracted her, attracted my mom, and all that. So these things are just what they are. Women, men, they are not attracted so much by money. If they want to use you, that could be the one that attracts them. But if they are looking to build something solid with you, there is so much more they're looking for. They want to be drawn to your story. They want to who you have become as a result of what you went through, where you are right now, and where you're going. So the last part we're going to talk about right now is, where are you going? Where are you going? Where are you going? Where are you going? You can't hit where you're not targeting. What do you see yourself being in 5 years and all that? Why should this lady follow you? Because it's like a journey. It's like a leadership journey. You're taking, you're it's like you're going to somebody's family and then taking one person to join you, to become a part of your own journey, to be a part of your life, part of your family, and then to start another race with you, another race entirely. Because that's what marriage is. You both leave your parents, come together, you want to start a new journey, start out a new race. So you're not going to meet this girl now. The question is, why should she join you in this new race? Why should it be you? Why should should it not be the next guy beside you? Why should it not be the next lady, beside you and all that? Why should it not be the next person? Why should it be you? So you need to have so much more. And then this last one is where you're going. So you're not just talking about vain promises. There is an acute plan. There is something you have laid down, stuff you have on paper. There is your vision when it's seen is clear. Your vision for life, your plan for life is clear. Anybody that sees it, wow, I love this guy, I love this lady, and wants to follow you. I know of a pastor in Calabar who I attended a conference where he was sharing his story, and then he said when he wanted to talk with there were so many suitors around, but he just went to her and said, I'm a star, I'll shine tomorrow. Are you joining me? He wouldn't have said it exactly like that. That would have been rude. But that would have been the climax of everything he had said to wrap up the talk. I'm a star, I will shine tomorrow. Are you joining me? Right? So where are you going as a guy? Where are you going as a lady? How is your future going to look like if you bring this particular person on board? Right? How is your future going to look like? Because nobody wants to fail. Nobody wants to get into it. And where we come from, this African side where we come from, divorce is almost not an option for us. Almost not an option. So you cannot afford to get into something with somebody and then shut down at some point. It doesn't sit well with African religion and all that. So Divorce is almost not an option. So we're saying here, nobody wants to come in and be looking at your face every morning and be like, what is going to happen? Or what are we going to eat? Or how is it going to be? Or what is so is this I did not join you. I did not come here to come and suffer. That's the truth. It's the truth. The lady didn't come to suffer. That's the truth. And one of the things I that makes being a male in Africa, when you're getting married, to a lady in a particular family, you're not just marrying her, right? You're not just going to be taking care of her. You're going to be taking care, especially if she's the eldest, right? And then she has siblings who are going to be schooling and all that. You don't expect that at some point when the siblings they're asking her for support, and sister, please can you help us with money to buy these things in school and all that, and then she will come to you and ask for money, and you say you don't have. It doesn't make sense. You don't have the first day, not the second day. You don't have for how many years? No, you're not just marrying her. You're marrying every member of her family, so to speak, because you'll be taking care of them, taking care of your family too. So the responsibility is so much. So being a male, an African male, is already something to think about when you're considering marriage. It's tough, trust me. And sometimes when I just lie down on my bed and then I'm thinking about it, I'm like, it's not that I wish I was a lady anyway, but being a male child, so you have so much on your plate, so much on your plate. So you cannot afford to bring anybody on board when you do not have a vision of where you're going to be. You do not have a well laid down plan of what you're going to do. It might not be, the plan might not, be exactly straight, it might be still foggy, but at least a 1 year plan. What are you going to be doing? All right? So that's it. That's it. 4 things: where you came from, who you have become as a result of it, where you are right now, and where you're going. Those are the 4 prerequisites from which we can say that love is an evidence of things. And remember, I said evidence of things not seen is a phrase mostly associated with faith, right? So we say we've not seen this, but we believe it's going to happen. So we say we have not seen this person in entirety, we've not seen the potential this person has, we've not seen this person's future, say 10 years from now, but there is love. There is love, and love is our evidence. And that love doesn't just hang on the air as as a heavenly pillar or something. It doesn't just hang on the air. It is based on these 4 reasons I have just stated out to you. Nobody just loves anybody. We are all selfish beings, like I said. Nobody just falls in love with anybody. There must be a reason. You're either drawn to the person's story, you appreciate who the person is, or you don't know that person, or you believe what the person is doing. So it must be either of those 4 or all 4 of them. Right. So that's it. I wish you a very, very wonderful, lovely life. Right. So if you have any questions, just drop them now. I'm trying to keep our shows these days to just 50 minutes. Right? And we've taken up to 53. So if you have questions, you can just drop them right now as we wrap up. So thank you so much. While you're doing that, thank you so much for staying with us. And I know the network would have been fluctuating at some point, but if you stayed up till now, you are really, really someone special. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. From the depth of my heart, I wish and hope that you have a fantastic relationship. A fantastic relationship. If it's not going anywhere, come out of it. Don't be sentimental about matters regarding your heart, because heartbreak is not easy. Heartbreak is not easy. You heard of the story of the guy who was in a relationship with a lady. Then after 9 years of being in that relationship, the lady decided to leave him. He committed suicide. He couldn't take it. After 9 years. Wow. Wow. After 9 years. He committed suicide. So don't joke with matters of the heart. If there is something happening, you're not comfortable with it, and you guys have not been able to resolve it, you might want to step out, because when you get into marriage, that person owns you, so to speak. You are no longer your own as a person, right? So if the person treats you anyhow, you can't really complain, because you're already there. You made the choice with your two eyes and 2 legs. You walked into it, and we know especially in this our age, most times where our parents say you can't marry from a certain tribe, and then you find somebody you love that is from that tribe, and if eventually that person is not the right person for you, maybe 2 months or 2 years down the line, your parents told you so. We don't want our parents coming back to tell us those kind of things and then making us feel like we made the wrong decision. So trust God, right? Trust God. Make sure before you say yes to anything, you've consulted Him, consulted the Holy Spirit, you've prayed, you've taken time out, you've done your research and all that. You've done your research about this person, you've studied the person. Don't rush anything. Don't do anything hastily. Don't do anything hastily. Relationships are not for experiments. It's not a joke. Matters of the heart, like I said. It's not a joke. So as much as you can, before you say yes, before you tie the knot, make sure you know everything about this person. You have explored this person's weaknesses and strengths. You've read books together. Books that talk about personality traits, talked about you inside out. And then as you read them, you are laughing together, you are sharing ideas, you're just exploring each other. That's what I learned from Federico and his wife. That's what Tara said, they did. I just learned that from them. So before they got married, they spent so much time reading together, talking, so much time talking, just looking to know everything about each other. But it's not possible to know everything about yourself until you get in there, right? But at least to an extent, so that you know what you're getting into. All right. So that's it. I've been saying that so that I can save that question, but there are no questions. So thank you very much for joining in today. God bless you so much. So until we come your way next time again, my name is Fabian Collins, the man, the myth, and the legend. I'll see you next week. This will be talking about something that regards skill development, particular skill, and all that. So thank you very much. See you next week, Wednesday by 5. Before I go, right? So if you've not been receiving our daily broadcasts, you've not been receiving our daily broadcast every morning, you'll drop your comments too. I think I'll also reach out to live stream. Those of us who have liked the video, I'll reach out to you and then find out if you have been receiving any of those broadcasts. If you have not, then I'll send them to you. So thank you very much and see you next week Wednesday by 5. Bye.